Hey, it's the Bradcast. This is Comics, Beer, and Sci-Fi, and it's a special event podcast commemorating Adam West from TV's Batman. Batman. I'm here with Joe Johnson from Hollywood Car Minute and The Q.
Hello, hello, hello.
Hello, old chum.
So, gentlemen, one of the saddest days in our recent history, the loss of Adam West.
You know, at my age, a lot of my heroes are getting up there, and we're starting to lose a lot of them, and some hit me harder than others. And when I discovered the news of Adam West passing, that hit me pretty hard. He was one of my heroes as long as I can remember. The Batman TV show premiered when I was born, so I didn't see it first run, but I grew up with the reruns, and that set the tone for me. That got me into comic books and cars because of the cool Batmobile.
Yeah.
And so it was a huge impact on my life, my entire life, and it was pretty hard to hear the news.
Yeah. What about you, Q? I know Batman is like your favorite character ever. How does the TV show Batman figure into all that?
Yeah, it was an impact, but you know, unlike you guys, I had the animated series
Right.
first, and I found that later. So it took a while to get used to it because by the time I was around, you know, we had the serious Batman, we had the Dark Knight, you know, Tim Burton,
Right.
And so, but going back to see how it began was still important because, you know, like even now I have the serials at home on VHS from 1949.
Oh, yeah.
So, you know, hearing the news, and especially after you get to meet him, and he's such a cool guy.
He is. He gets it. You know, a lot of these stars from the TV shows in the 60s and stuff, they try to distance themselves from those roles that made him famous.
But
And
he
Adam
didn't.
West embraced it, and he got it.
But
and,
did he do any other real acting besides that?
He did some roles outside of Batman, but I mean,
I know he did a
he's always
couple of
gonna
westerns.
Yeah.
I mean, I remember being excited when I recognized him in another movie when I was a little kid.
But when you said it and you seen him on TV, what did you say?
What do you mean?
That's Batman.
Right.
Yeah.
You didn't say that's Adam West.
Right.
You said that's Batman.
Right. Exactly. Hey, that's Bruce Wayne.
Yeah,
right?
You know,
And of course, when he passes away, they shine the bat signal.
Oh
on,
my God, I thought that was
LA
so
City
cool.
Hall.
I thought that was so cool.
He accepted the fact that he was always going to be associated with the character, but
Right.
instead of trying to distance himself, which
He
just would have
embraced it.
alienated his fans, he embraced it. And
Right.
And do me a favor, if you haven't seen it, watch a TV program called Return to the Batcave. Do you guys know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah.
Adam West and Burt Ward appear in it as themselves, but then there are actors who portray them during the filming of the Batman TV series, and it really gives you some insight as the approach that these actors took playing these roles. That Adam West knew what he was getting into. He had fun with it. He looked at it as a comedy, which now when you go back and look at it, it's a laugh out loud comedy.
It is.
Nobody took themselves seriously.
But when you're a little kid watching that show, it was like a comic book came to life.
It is.
Yeah.
And remember, that was a prime time TV show side by side with the Flintstones. I mean, come on.
And multiple times a week, which is unheard of.
Yes.
Because when you'd watch these episodes, what do they say at the end? Come back tomorrow, same bat time, same bat channel.
Because it was
the worst
hugely
is
popular.
yet to come.
Yeah. Hugely popular.
Yeah. No, I agree, and I remember the movie he did, and
Shark bat shark repellent.
and I'm sitting there, and while they're
Some days you just
trying
can't get rid of a bomb.
while they're trying to figure out where the shark came from.
Yeah.
And Robin's like, Batman. So, and he was like, you know, Robin, that shark was pulling my leg.
Yeah, when
He's
they
like,
deduce the clues.
And he's like this, the Joker. And I'm like, where the hell did that even come from?
Yeah.
He's like, Robin, what is such and such and such? And he was like, a sparrow with a machine gun.
Yeah.
I'm like, why would a sparrow have a machine gun?
One of my favorites. After Adam West passing, I watched a couple of the early episodes from the TV series, and one of my favorite riddles that Robin deduces was, when is a clock like a train? when is a clock like a train? When it's 2 to 2. 2, 2, 2.
Oh my god!
And 2, 2, 2.
That came out of Robin's mouth, and I laughed out loud. That was hysterical.
Oh my god! When you look at it now, when we look at it, we laugh because it's so cheesy, and it's like, but back then that was funny.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
But that's what you got out of a comic book.
Yeah, no, you're right. So it took me a long while to be like, yeah, that was.
I mean, like the crawling up the wall scenes. Every single episode, they were crawling up a wall.
And then a celebrity would
stick their head out the window, acknowledge them as a legitimate person, Batman and Robin, make a comment, close the window, and they just keep walking up the wall.
Now, Q, I don't know if you can relate to this, but let's go back to the year 1989. They announced a new Batman movie, Michael Keaton, Tim Burton. The movie comes out. I loved it. But a lot of people who saw the movie said, that's not my Batman.
Yeah.
People were shocked by the dark turn, the gothic look. They wanted pow, zap, bang. And people were disappointed by Tim Burton's Batman. Now you look back at it as sort of the catalyst that started the whole dark period of Batman.
Well, you know the story about the rights for that movie, right? It was a throwaway character. By 10 years after the last show came out, right, mid to late 70s, nobody was interested. Batman as a franchise was pretty much washed up, and there was this fellow, the guy who currently owns the rights, I think he worked in a lawyer's office or something, and he found out it was available, and he said, yeah, I'll take that. And it took him a while, and he actually took his story, the Tim Burton version, and tried to farm it around, and nobody would take it. And it took him 10 years, 1970, it took him 10 years to finally get somebody to go, and now everybody wants a piece of the action. So it's interesting that people like Q, pardon me if I speak for you, love the movie franchise now because it so represents the books that he's been reading since he was a kid. But before I ever read any books, I sat in the living room while my dad watched Batman, and that was what I was expecting. So, yeah, I may have been one of those people with Tim Burton's, because I love Tim Burton. Everything he's done, I always thought was fantastic, and it was like, I couldn't figure it out. Yes, that was a head tilt, folks. You didn't see the head tilt. I wasn't sure what to make of it. It was eventually good. I honestly liked the next couple. I didn't like Val Kilmer because I just didn't like Val Kilmer.
I'm your Huckleberry. What's wrong with you?
Love Val Kilmer. It's the car, right?
Chicks
love the car.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
What's wrong with you?
I don't know.
You know what's interesting too, and it's
you are
almost,
no daisy, sir.
You're Daisy if you do. You know what's interesting too? It's almost unthinkable when you think about this. But I met Adam West in 2002. He was at the Detroit Autorama, hardly a line, which shocks me. And I said, well, this is my chance to meet him and get his autograph. So went up, had him sign an 8x10 for me, and I got to chat with him a little bit. And I said, where's the merchandise? Where's the Adam West Batman figures? Where's the 66 Batmobile? Why can't I buy these things in stores? And Adam shrugged at me and said, I can't explain it. I don't know. Let's hope it gets resolved. Let's hope this will happen. And so that was 2002. And
so he's still in his 70s at this point, right?
And so I had heard stories that because of legal wranglings and all this stuff that different people claim to own the rights to the Batman TV show, and so there was no merchandise being produced for 40 years.
But that was another issue.
When I was a little kid, we had those little Batmobiles.
There was the Corgi Batmobiles, but those came out in the 70s, 80s, and they were merchandising.
That was another
60s,
issue
70s.
with the kids with me that grew up with me. There was no mention of Batman 60s. Like, you couldn't find, there were no toys.
Exactly.
There was no, like, the reruns came on late at night. So we didn't see them.
Oh, I didn't realize it was that bad.
We didn't know nothing about and then it's just like out the blue.
Well, here's the
Adam
cool
West
thing.
was Batman.
Those rights got resolved in about 2006 or so, and Mattel who owns the Hot Wheels brand, put out the Batmobile, the 66 Batmobile, as a Hot Wheel, and it's their, according to George Barris, who designed and built the Batmobile, that became their all-time highest-selling Hot Wheel car ever, was the 66 Batmobile. And then the floodgates open. And if you go into a Toys R Us store today, you can find Adam West Batman action figures at Toys R Us today. So they finally got it resolved, and now you can walk into a store and buy that 66 Batman merchandise.
And trust me, that helps, because you got some kid who loves Batman who's going to walk down and say, Dad, what Batman is this? Well, son, let me tell you. And then that's how it begins.
How come all the dads have deep voices?
Well, because, it's for effect. You don't want to say, Dad, what's this? Well, son, let me tell you. You don't want to say that.
That happens to Michael Jackson's kids.
Yeah.
Sorry, I had to go there. I actually tricked you into doing that.
You really did.
I totally tricked you into doing that. Thank you.
Now, before we wrap up our conversation on Batman, I'm curious, when Adam West would show up at a Comic-Con, I wonder what percentage of the merchandise he was asked to sign was Family Guy. How much do you associate Adam West with Mayor West on Family Guy?
100%.
100%. He is Adam. He is Mayor West. Like, he is, there is... to me, he was Mayor West before he was Batman.
Wow. See, now that's shocking to me to hear that.
But like we said, we didn't have the toys or the rights or anything.
Right, but don't you...
So unless you were a hardcore TV fan or a hardcore Batman fan, you knew nothing about...
Right, but he was playing himself. Why was he famous then?
Right.
Because he's
like Batman.
Right, but
he's Batman to y'all. But to us, he's on the next best thing to The Simpsons.
Yeah,
right.
Simpsons,
No. I get that.
Listen, but listen, The Simpsons, before South Park,
yes,
The Simpsons was the cartoon that kids couldn't watch.
Yeah, that's true.
Okay.
You weren't allowed in the room.
We were not allowed to watch The Simpsons. So, when you couldn't watch The Simpsons, and then 20-something years later, Family Guys come out, right? And when Family Guy come out, you're old enough to watch The Simpsons. So that means you're old enough to watch Family Guy. But Family Guy took what The Simpsons did, and if this was the line and The Simpsons were here, Family Guy was like right on the line. In terms of,
to me,
their
Family Guy is
comedy.
always going to be a ripoff of The Simpsons. And The Simpsons,
Well,
they poked fun at it during a Halloween episode when Homer was cloned, and the camera pans across all the Homer clones, and then you see Peter Griffin standing there.
Yeah.
And that was a statement that Family Guy is a ripoff.
Well, did you see the crossover episode they did?
I think I did, yeah.
It was funny because Peter Griffin says, "No one wants you here anymore, Simpsons. We're all tired of your jokes."
You do realize that Brian is Snoopy, right?
Brian is Snoopy.
Brian the dog.
Oh, right.
Snoopy.
Not Santa's little helper.
Yeah, he does kind of look like him, yeah.
And then it's funny because in the crossover episode, they point out that the Simpsons is nothing but the Flintstones.
That's right.
So but it all goes back. But anyway, back to Adam West.
Nothing's original.
Nothing is original.
Yeah, so honestly, I think that Adam West, who played himself as a parody, was absolutely spot on. He took the camp from his TV show and played it as real as himself on that show, and some of the most insanely stupid and funny parts of that show was him. And because I really do appreciate the comedy in everything I watch, his comedy on that show was absolutely funny. Peter Griffith, Seth MacFarlane needs a fucking enema, but Adam West was absolutely spot on.
It was genius the way he
Funny.
set it up. He basically brought him into the studio and said, "Just be you."
Yeah.
Don't read the line, but read it as you.
Adam West.
Right. It would be like having Mayor Shatner, and it
Right.
would be the same thing, and everything would be read like Captain Kirk, and we'd all laugh at that too.
Exactly. You know,
Yeah.
so
If you get a chance, go on YouTube and watch like the top 10 Adam West moments on Family Guy. You'll have tears in your eyes. It's that funny.
They're hilarious.
Yeah. Something about he was talking to a plant and how it was following him, and they're everywhere. Everywhere I go, they're following me, and it was absolutely hysterical.
Funny.
He's a legend.
He is.
Going to be
He
missed.
is really missed.
All right, guys, have we paid the proper amount of homage? Because we can talk about this again anytime you want. Probably the next time there's a Batman movie.
We'll always talk about Adam West.
But I think that we are the lesser for his loss.
Yes.
I agree.
Because there won't be anything new.
No.
Well, we will get one last
yes.
movie. That's the animated 1966 sequel with Shatner as Two-Face. We talked about that.
Yeah.
We're going to have one more chance
Yes,
to
that's true.
appreciate his
Oh.
humor and hear his voice.
And Powerless, the TV show that got canceled on NBC.
Talk about that.
Did an episode with Adam West, but they didn't get to air it because the show was canceled before it came on. So it is on YouTube. So go out and check it out.
So we should find the links and put it in the down below part where after people subscribe to our show.
That's only if you like and subscribe. It will be locked until you like and subscribe.
That's tricky. Q.
Here's kind of a sad note to end on. We're going to be going to Stan Lee Con in L.A. in October.
Yes.
I looked up the guest list scheduled to appear. Adam West and Burt Ward.
Well, Burt Ward will still be
there.
there.
Yeah, I'm sure he'll be there,
Oh,
but it's
heck,
going to
what's
be
it?
sad.
Sorry.
What?
I was going to say, who wants to see Burt Ward?
Oh!
Love Burt Ward.
Mrs. Ward.
No, let me tell you. You love Burt Ward until you walk up to the table and you see him charging the same amount as Adam West. You're not Adam West.
You got to admit that somebody who made their fame, their 15 minutes of fame for 3 seasons, 76 episodes, just like Star Trek, wearing satin panties and little booties with bare legs and a little thing on his face. You have to admire the man's courage because he never really worked again.
And the women loved it, though.
And the women loved it.
Isn't it amazing at that time women found stuff like that masculine? Like all the women loved Liberace. Okay.
Now you wear something like that if you want to.
Well, was it you? I showed there's a comic book. Oh yeah, it was Casey had a bunch of comic books.
Oh yeah, with the
you had a chance to be Robin with pants or Robin with bare legs, and I'm thinking, I'll take the pants, please. Thank you.
I'll take the
Next,
pants.
yeah, I'll take the pants. That last thing they did where they got somebody's sending a letter to him, and he says, I thought it was from you. Oh yeah, I got one. I thought it was from you. What are you doing here? He goes, yeah, I just happen to have a key to the Batmobile, and they steal the Batmobile. They go on. Because he still calls him old chum. I mean, it was hysterical.
Yeah.
I mean, you understand though that he was in his. So if that was 66, that was 50s, and so he was early 30s. He was a young man.
Yeah.
And he had, and I guess we didn't have to discuss this part of it, but what he wore in that show, that was, forget about Robin. What Adam West wore for that show was very brave.
Oh yeah.
I mean,
and
regular
to make that masculine, he was completely confident wearing that suit.
Yeah.
He said it in what was that show he was on? He said, because they were asking about Michael Keaton and Christian Bale. He said, they always screaming, I'm Batman.
Oh yeah, I'm Batman.
He said, I didn't have to say I'm Batman. I just walked in the room and people knew I was Batman. He was like, they had their muscles drawn on.
Yeah.
He was like, I just went all out there in all of my Adam West glory.
Yeah. Yeah.
He's like, come on now.
All right. I think we have done our proper due diligence. And Q, thank you very much. Mr.
No
Joe
problem.
Johnson, Hollywood Minute, thank you very much.
Thank you.
This has been the Bradcast and a special podcast commemorating Adam West for Comic Experience Sci-Fi, and we'll see you next time.
Same bat time.
Same Bat Channel.